Hi everybody, Lori here from Unique in the Creek, and today I'm going to show you how to make a ombre butterfly using the UITC wing board. This is our new wing board, and on the front you will see our logo, our Made in Canada, and you will see 5 different rows. There's row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's one half, and then the other half is also 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So whatever I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other side, okay? The first thing I've already done the one side, is I preloaded, closed, rows 2, 3, and 4, okay? So I got to finish row 2. So you go down one hole, up the other, and when you're going to connect your zip tie, you want to go from the tail to the flat part, through the flat part of the head, pull it a little bit, and you'll hear a zipping sound, and it'll lock, okay? And that's what we're going to do, and that's what we call preloaded here at Unique in the Creek. So down one hole and up the other. Flat part with the tail, you hear a click, and it locks, okay? So I've done, that's row 2. Row 3, there is extra holes, so you can make row 3 as full as you want. So we can use holes, shared holes we call them. So we'll put one zip tie down and come back up that hole beside it, close it, and we can still use here, and you can do a whole row of it. So you'll see all zip ties on the back just going right across. I'm not going to do that. I am going to be doing these outside hole here, and you'll see there is a little line. The little line just indicates you use that hole with the outside of the board. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for the bottom one here. Okay, now you can get this thing jam-packed full. You can use shared holes on every single row, but you'll see once I'm done this, it gets pretty full, and you may not have to use any shared holes. So once you see it finished, you can decide if you want it fuller or add more color or whatever. I'm doing a very simple butterfly. Like I said, it is going to be ombre. The ombre I'm using is the purple one that we sell at Unique in the Creek. And all I've done is made 3 packs of colors that match with each other really nicely. And when you layer them, they actually look like an ombre going across it. Okay? So there is my board preloaded. And if you turn it upside down, this is all you're going to see when it's upside down. So it does stay nice and neat. And there's my row 2, row 3. And we got these little extra ones hanging off. And row 4. Row 5, I'm just going to wait because I'm going to see how full it is. And it'll depend on which butterfly body I use. Now this one is pretty big. So I'm going to wait till row 5 to see. But more than likely, I'll probably do this hole to this hole, this hole to this hole, and this hole to this hole. But I'm just going to leave it for right now so it doesn't get too confusing looking. All right. So the first thing we're going to start off with is I have cut my whole roll of purple. This is the dark purple. Okay, really pretty, sparkly. This is the lavender. Again, these are the ombre sets that we've put together. There's the lavender. And then this is an iridescent lavender as well. So it's really light, but it's got an iridescent shimmer to it. It's really, really pretty. So when you layer these 3 over, it looks really pretty as an ombre. And you can use this for flowers and everything. So I'm just going to make a butterfly. I haven't made one yet. I've done the wings, the angel wings, but I haven't made the butterfly. So I'm going to use the simplest petal that's out there. Just a normal, like, sunflower petal. I was going to use the rolled petal. I'll decide once we get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my zip ties and I'm just going to go through the back hole. So from behind on row 1, and you'll see that there's a 1 there. And just put my zip tie right down on my table so it's almost like an L shape. Okay, I'm going to take my mesh. And like I said, I did heat seal this so I don't have to deal with any of the strings or anything. And actually I would burn this one. And I'm going to scrunch it from corner to corner. Just taking your thumb and your forefinger and dragging it across your mat or your table. Try not to have a tablecloth because you'll just gather your tablecloth. And you're going to flip it over. This is just the simple sunflower petal. Okay. This does work with the rolled petal. You can do it with a Rita petal to make it pointy. Actually, maybe I should have did that one next time. And I'm just zip tying it in. Now row 1 and 2 are going to be dark purple. So I'm going to go down and up. You can add 2 pieces if you want. I will be adding double pieces into row 2. So I thought that would be enough of the dark purple for the butterfly. So again, your square 10 by 10 piece. All my pieces I cut 10 by 10. Drag it. So this is what you have. And you're going to flip it upwards. And then I just kind of get the curve in between my fingers here and put it right on the board, right over top of where your zip tie is placed. Come around the board and do the zip tie up. Okay, and we're going to keep doing that for all these rows. Now these are sticking up. As we start layering our other petals, it will start flattening out. So I never get too concerned with them sticking up. Okay, that is row 1 done. So now I'm going to go along and clip off the tails of my zip tie. Again, don't worry about too much about these wacky petals right now because they will tame down when we start adding more onto it. So I'm going to just snip these off. I'm just using a pair of wire cutters or side cutters. I kind of like to grab it, pull it tight. You can use the nippers, you can use a zip tie gun, whatever you have handy, or an old pair of scissors. Just don't use your good sharp scissors for your ribbons, because it will dull. So that is all for our first row. Okay, the second row, now I'm going to do one side of the wing first, because this is going to start getting really large. Okay, if I did the other purple, I'd be working out of probably the range of my camera. So I'm going to work on this side of the wing and then flip it over and do the exact same I've done on this side, I'm going to do on the other side. Okay. Okay, so in each zip tie, we got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be dark purple again. I'm going to do the same petal, but I'm going to use 2 pieces of the dark purple in each zip tie. Okay, now we have plenty of mesh to do this. So I'm going to do 1. Again, exact same way as we did row 1. Flip it. Get your clothespin. So I just clothespin mine so I can make the second one. And do exactly the same. Flip it up. And when you flip it up, you want to just judge and make sure that both petals are about the same length in the tip, from tip to tip there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, put it up against the second one, just like that, and I'm going to take this whole thing and put it right into the zip tie and pull tight. You're doing about a fingertip length into your zip tie. Make sure both pieces stay in there and they're about the same length. So you can see that it's about a fingertip into the zip tie, and pull that tight. Now I'm going to fix my petals to make sure they're not twisted and they lay flat. And you can see already that just those 2 pieces have already flattened the row number 1. Okay, like I said, you can do any kind of petal fold for this. This is just one of the easier ones that you can do. I do plan on trying all kinds of petal folds to make the butterfly, so I figured I'd start on the easiest one. Although I think the rolled petal is the easiest, but okay, I'm going to do the exact same. So I'm going to have 4 more. So I'm going to use 8 more pieces of mesh. So flip up, make sure your tips are around the same length. Clothespin it. And then scrunch another piece. Now another way you can also put the 2 pieces in is take the one that is in the clothespin, bring it right in the center of the other one that you just scrunched, and put it together like that. So they're not side by side, but it does give you the same effect. So whatever way you feel comfortable doing it. Okay, fingertip, and we're good to go. Now I am fixing my petals as we go, because once you start layering them, they're a little harder to fix. So I'm just kind of making sure they're sort of flattened out and pointing in the right direction that I want it. Okay, Make sure that's tight and clip off. Last two purple for this side, last two dark purple. And as you can see, it's getting quite large already. Alrighty, looking good. All right, the next one I'm going to be doing is the lavender. And I'm going to be doing the petal exactly the same with 2 pieces in each of the zip tie. Now obviously we are going to use more of the dark purple than we will the lavender because we did row 1 with the dark purple. So you need 15 pieces of dark purple. So I only used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's 5 here and I put 2 pieces in each. So you need 15 dark purple on this side and you'll need 15 dark purple on the other side. The lavender, we are only going to need 10 pieces on each side. So what I'm going to do is this little one from here to the outside, it's going to cover the outside of the board. Fingertip, pull, snip, and we're going to fix the petals. Okay, there's our first lavender. So when you do put them together either this way or side by side, it gives you that nice full 4-petal look. So it gives more fullness without having to use as much mesh. So it spreads it out nicely. And like I said, I fix the tail or the petals as I'm going to make sure that they lay where I want them to lay, instead of having to dig through the mesh to figure out which one is wonky on you. So it's very, very easy. It's just a bit, you know, a bit of elbow work, but it's not hard whatsoever to achieve this, because we're going to do the same thing with the even lighter lavender, the iridescent one, and then you just have to do the other side. So what you do to one side, you do to the other side. Now you notice with the butterfly, you're going straight out, whereas the wing, or the angel wing, I was going down with the outside petals. So the wing went downwards long-wise, the butterfly goes outwise. And I want to make sure that I can see each of the 4 petals. So take your time and make them nice and neat. And you don't have to do this all in one sitting. You can start and stop, because when you come back, you'll know exactly where you are. Now I kind of press down the nub. I call it a nub that you put into the thing. I just kind of press it down, and it makes the 4 petals spread out just a little bit more. And pull out your tips so everything's pointed outwards. And we got one more to do for the lavender, and then we're going to work on the iridescent lavender. So like I said, the dark purple takes more than the other pieces would. So you could even, if you want to do ombre, you can even do it backwards. You can do from dark to light. There's no right or wrong with the ombre. I always tend to do dark to light. I think it's just my preference. Especially when you're doing a butterfly. Usually the butterfly, the outer of the butterfly is usually like a black or a brown or something kind of dark. This one's giving me a problem. Okay, and we're using this one from the outside around the board. Pull tight, fingertip. Beautiful. Now we're going to do even the lighter. And it's getting big. Okay, here is the light lilac iridescent. So we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 on row 4. And I will be doing 3 on row 5. Okay, exactly the same. Now again, I'm just going to show you, you can either go side by side to get your four tips, or you can go in between. There's 2, or you can do it in between. Both gives the same effect. Now if you did it doing both at the same time, scrunching, you're not going to get your 4 points that I'm getting on mine. It'll be hard to get it. The lovely thing with Deco mesh, it loves to stick to itself. One more piece. So I'm kind of angling the two going this way and not down. So go in the way the zip tie is angled for these two outside ones. You don't want your petals facing downwards. And this is why I heat sealed it, because I knew I was going to be playing around with it. And the more you touch it, the more it'll fray. But when you do wood burn it or heat seal it, it isn't as bad. That's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go on row 5 now, and I'm just going to do one piece, only because I think my body. I'm going to put the bodies on and see which one looks the best. I have one that's quite large and one's a little smaller. So I'm going from here to here. This is the normal hole, from here to here, and then I'm going to go from here to here. So we have some shared holes on this row 5. I'll be pushing this back. This will be pushing back. Or I don't know which one I like better. I guess I'll wait until it's finished because they're both super cute. I was just going to put one in here, but I'm thinking I might put 2. Just to make sure it's covered in case I want to use the small body. So I'm going to use another 6 pieces. Put the middle one in first. Again, when it's angled like this one, you're gonna not go in straight. You're going to go in on the angle of the zip tie. So the nubs will bunch up against each other. And again, I'm straightening my petals as I'm making each one. Because as you can see, if you don't while you're going, you're going to be digging through mesh, and then the more you dig through the mesh, the more strings you're going to make. So do your petals as you're going. Make them pretty as you're going. All right, one more here, and then we're done that side. Again, angle. Alrighty, one side of this butterfly wing does measure, when you do it with this method, we got 14 inches. So this butterfly, when it is done, it is going to be 28 inches wide. It's going to be gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so now I'm going to work on the other side exactly the same as I did on this side. And I'll fuss with these petals forever. Now you can put more of the lilac. If you want to see more of the lilac, you can use some shared holes and put some more lilac in if you want. But you can see it. But you can see the flow of the three colors. So the light to the lilac to the purple. It's very pretty. All right, we're going to start the other side. Again, back of the hole, put your zip tie in an L shape. And we are going to do just one piece. Now you could use black. If you had black, you could do black, dark purple, the lavender, and then the light purple. That would look spectacular as well. Again, right on the board, go around the center and zip tie it, pull tight. And continue on. Okay, so once you have both sides looking the same, and you can see it's pretty large. Mine is working out to be, I thought it would be 28 inches, but it's 30 inches. She's a big one. So what I want to do is I just want to bring the bottom of the butterfly wings just out so you can see that V a little bit better. So I'm going to flip this over. And even though there's a zip tie right in that hole, there was a reason I put the hole there. So you can take a zip tie, and we're just going to kind of feed it through the mesh if we can. Just angle it. Now this has got a big nub there. Okay, so I got it through, and what I'm going to do is put it through the iridescent, and I'm going to be pulling this iridescent just back a little bit. Okay, it's almost like threading it, and then do it up. Just like that. So when I flip it over, you can see it pulls it back a little bit here, so when we put our body on, you'll still see that a little bit of the V of the two wings. So you just gotta kind of wiggle it around the nub of the lavender there. And once you get it through, put it through the two pieces of the iridescent. So I'm just kind of pulling the iridescent a little tight. And it's much easier to do this not upside down, but all right. And then we're going to do this up. It's just kind of pulling the mesh back a little bit. Now you can pop it into the holes so you don't have anything sharp sticking out. All right, so we just kind of pulled it all back. So you see how I made that V a little bit bigger? You can do that for the top as well. So go down past, get it through the nub. There we go. We're just going to weave it into that mesh, and we're going to pull this back a bit. All right, one more. So you can see how it's sticking out right here. That's what I'm trying to do, is bring it on back. Now I know Michelle just leaves hers. It's probably easier to leave it. But if I'm going to use the small body, and of course I put this upside down, all that work and I put it upside down, and there we go. Now you can just use a 4-inch here as well if you just have if you have any 4 inches, because it's just tacking the mesh back a little. Long one. There we go. Look at that. All right, we'll do bling. So I'm going to put a pipe cleaner on the back of my butterfly. Glue gun is on. So There's my holes. Just need to push this little nub back so I can see the middle hole here. There we go. So there's the 2 middle holes. And I'm going to put it right about here. I'm going to cut, these U-pins are really big. I'm going to just cut it down just a bit. Make sure it didn't come through the front. I'm going to put a little bit of glue so that sucker stays in there. And wait for it to dry. Okay, so now we're going to go down the middle hole with our pipe cleaner. Not pulling too tight, but snug, so it just sits on top of the nubs. Give it a couple twists. Cut your pipe cleaners off. We're going to push it back down in the hole. Alrighty. And then you can add, oh my gosh, it's cute. Then you can add some more glue underneath your butterfly body to keep it in place. These are bling jeweled roping. It's plastic, and I put a little piece of the dowel in there, put glue around it, and I'm going to stick it so it stays in there. I think I glued the other one already. And so it is well in the styrofoam, but you can also bend them to make your antennae. And this is what we got. Ta-da! Isn't that beautiful? I'll get some pictures of it. Look at the shine, shine, shine. Beautiful. Alright guys, thanks for joining me, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. And join us on Unique Wreath Creators, because we'd love to see what you do with your butterfly wings. Alright guys, thanks a lot, and take care and be well. Bye-bye.